No-touch ticket barriers are coming to Japan. Well, at least in the next 10 years or so. JR East has recently announced an ambitious 10-year plan for its Suica platform to bring even more convenience to this, what they call, lifestyle device. Now, obviously, this is going to be a multi-phase plan, and one of their initial plans is by 2026, adding more functionality to the mobile application. For example, ticket management, in-app coupon access, and extensions to regions like Sendai, Niigata, and Aomori. And things like this would definitely allow more flexibility for travelers traveling to Japan, especially if you're planning to go to less visited places, not the tourist trap areas, but the less visited areas. For example, when I went to Japan, I want to go down here to bring up a map. I went to Sasebo, which is right around here in Nagasaki. Now, I had to go there, like the main trip was by Shinkansen, but it didn't go all the way to where I was going to, and I had to get off to get on to one of the local trains. Now, for some reason, once you get off the Shinkansen, like you're right on the gate to go to the next train. You don't have to pass through any gates, I mean. So I got off the Shinkansen and got right on the train that I needed to go to, and then on the train, you had the ticket guys who were going through checking everyone's tickets, and I didn't have any tickets. So I ended up having to get off the train at my destination. I was fine with that, and I could pay for the ticket at my destination. Now, all of that said, I did know Japanese, so I was able to get through that. But if you're not familiar with Japan, or if you're not familiar with Japanese, it could be much harder to go through that scenario. So allowing more access for people to travel to other regions, possibly with the Suica card, and allow easy payment when you need to, would make things a lot smoother. Now, for right now, it doesn't look like they have any plans for the west of Japan. All the plans seem to be huddled around this area. Like before, talking about Sendai, it's the blue dot right there. And then you have Niigata and Aomori and other regions in this area that they're planning to expand out. Now, if you're planning on staying in Japan for a while, they do have a subscription-based travel service that they're in the works with, and it's scheduled to release by 2028, where you could pay a monthly fee to get different benefits, and within certain regions have unlimited travel, for example. And you can get discounts on special events, shopping, etc. So that's definitely something that you would do if you're planning on living there for like several months at a time. I would imagine that will be mostly targeted towards the Tokyo region at the beginning, like especially with the unlimited traveling. It's probably going to focus around Tokyo first, and we'll see if they expand that out into other regions as well. Not only that, but there's also a plan to link your Suica card with either your credit cards or bank accounts. And this will make things a lot more smooth rather than having to like recharge your card at those recharge stations every time it runs low. You can just have it linked to your bank account already, and you don't have to worry about recharging. And this could be beneficial in other areas as well. Like for example, when I was living in Japan, I noticed that you could use the Suica cards with vending machines. But this is something that I ended up avoiding doing because I didn't want to have to worry about recharging it because I used it too many times on the vending machines. Because recharging is an entire process, because you have to use actual money at the recharge station. So you had to go to an ATM, and then you had to go to the recharge station. And usually you're not looking to add a bunch of money to it. So you're trying to plan it out appropriately. So it is a hassle that made me not use the card in those types of situations for the vending machines. But if I had it linked to my bank accounts already and I could just use it, I wouldn't have to worry about recharging the card. So this is something that could save a lot of time at recharge stations, and reduce congestion around those areas as well. Now, talking about reducing congestion a lot, it's the big story of today, which is the no-touch ticket gates. This is something that kind of blew my mind when I was looking into it more. I'm not sure if I completely understand it just yet. So imagine going to Tokyo and just starting to walk through the gate without having to worry about touching your card on the ticket gate. Just that alone could save a ton of time when you really think about it, because imagine this, because sometimes you fumble around with your card. Maybe you don't pull it out as smoothly as you wanted to. Even if it's just like 1 or 2 seconds, that adds up over the millions of people who go through those gates every single day. Not only that, like, what if you go out shopping and now you have a bunch of bags? Now you gotta put down all the bags, grab out your card, and touch the gate. And, well, you have to pick up all your bags first and then touch the gate and walk through, and then you have to situate yourself. It's a mess when you're trying to do that. And that's a lot of time and space that you're occupying when they just want you to get through as soon as possible. And all of that time really does add up. Not only that, but there are cases to be said that, like, okay, you could use your phone to touch the ticket gate if you have that set up. But sometimes the phone doesn't always work. Like, for example, I had a friend who would use his phone as for the ticket gate, but every now and then it just didn't work. So he had to pull out his card anyway. But that's all time that could have been saved if all he had to do was just walk through. This time adds up dramatically. Now, the one concern about this is, how do you prevent theft? Like with the cards that we have now, there is a way to basically steal money if you had a device that is able to connect to it. But you had to get like right up to it, which is kind of tricky to do. However, with the no-touch ticket gates, well, maybe you could create a system that is just able to ping off of whatever and pick up the money. Well, obviously, with the plan right here, it shows that there's a 2-step connection to make sure there's added security. Now, there are assumptions that I'm going to make with this because I'm not exactly sure how it works, but the way it seems is that it is going to be a double confirmation. While you're going through the gate, there's going to be something that pings to detect that you're going through the gate, and then that is going to connect to satellite technology to confirm your location. Now, there is a case to be said that someone might be able to create a machine that is able to ping you and also communicate with the satellites, but let's be honest, they probably are going to create extensive systems to be able to detect weird transactions. Like, even if someone's able to create a device that's able to just pull like 1 yen more, and if you have like 10,000 people that go through that, you could pull like 10,000 yen just by grabbing that. I would assume that they would have a way to detect those weird transactions. Like, wait a minute, the rate for this area is supposed to be this, but everyone's getting charged 1 cent more, 1 yen more. So I would assume that they would have a system that is able to pick that up and prevent theft like that if that happens. And obviously this is a 10-year plan, and this is the plan that's probably going to take the 10 years total. And it's probably going to be isolated to small regions within Tokyo at first. So we'll have to see how all of that goes. And I'm sure that throughout this entire time, they'll be building up the software, they'll be building up the hardware to make sure that it's safe and accessible for people to use without worrying about anything. But yeah, when all of this releases, I would love to go back to Japan and check out how it all works. I mean, I wouldn't want it to take 10 years for me to get back to Japan, but it'll be a good excuse when the time comes. Now, this is the first video that I've made for these news stories where I'm specifically talking about all news Japan. And if you're interested in traveling to Japan or even learning the Japanese language, as you can tell on the advertisement down below, which is an application, a web app that I've been working on to help people learn languages. And you could use that app to also learn Japanese. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. And if you also like the news coverage, then you could either go to my website over here, trotter.to/news. And you could go there, and I'm going to be posting stories on a regular basis, and I'll be also covering them through these videos as well. So if you're also interested in the videos, you could subscribe to this channel and click the bell to get notifications whenever I post a new video, and I'll see you in the next one.